Welcome back to our channel. In the splendid space and protected by the solid stone walls of the luxury villa, Leslie's seemingly perfect life begins to crack little by little. She originally believed that her choice was the right one, that love for Ted was the key to lasting happiness and security. Ted appeared in her life as a model man, successful, calm, full of charm and always admired by those around him. In Leslie's eyes, he is not only a life partner, but also a solid support that helps her feel secure amidst the undercurrents of a turbulent society. However, as time passed, cracks began to appear on the mask that Ted skillfully wore every day. The small details, the ambiguous behavior, the sudden cold moments of his gradually engraved in Leslie's mind. Until one day, she could not deny that the man in front of her was not exactly like the image he had built up. As Leslie gradually realized the truth, the feeling of insecurity in her became haunting. She looked back at every memory, every action, every word, and saw empty spaces that could not be filled. The stories Ted told about the past were contradictory, the reasons he gave to explain his frequent absences became unreasonable. While Ted still maintained his composure and perfection in front of his friends, family and community, Leslie began to feel as if she were living with a stranger, a man with two faces. The deeper she sank into doubts, the more she felt the collapse of trust was inevitable. She once dreamed of a safe home, now only fear and a sense of betrayal to the core. The obsession grew when Leslie discovered that Ted was not simply hiding a few flaws in his personal life, but was willing to go further than anyone could imagine to keep those secrets. In the moment she accidentally found a forgotten piece, she understood that his perfection did not come from honesty, but from clever and sometimes extreme tricks. Ted had a special ability to manipulate situations, distort the truth and make everything turn in his favor. When faced with the risk of being exposed, he was willing to do anything, including using violence or destroying those who could threaten his position. Leslie was caught in that dangerous vortex without time to react. On the one hand, she still had feelings for Ted, still remembered the seemingly warm moments, the times when he showed gentleness and protection for her. But on the other hand, she could not deny that behind that look, behind that smile, there was a deep darkness that she had never imagined. She began to feel like a bird imprisoned in a gilded cage, where all the luxurious amenities only highlighted the lack of freedom and the lurking danger. The fear kept Leslie awake, turning each passing night into a long series of nightmares. She saw Ted's image present in her dreams, not as an ideal husband, but as a cold predator, ready to destroy anyone who dared to challenge him. The drama was pushed to a climax when Leslie gradually understood that Ted did not hesitate to use extreme methods to protect the secret. Not only did he threaten her, he also created situations that made Leslie feel the fragility of her own life. One time when she accidentally mentioned leaving, Ted's eyes changed completely, from sweet to vicious in an instant. Not a single shout, not a single extreme action, just a creepy silence, but enough for Leslie to understand that she had reached her limit. At that moment, she realized that he could do everything to keep her by his side, not because of love, but because she had become a part of his power game, a chess piece that could not be lost. From then on, Leslie's life became a series of days of internal struggle. She did not know who to turn to, did not know whether the people around her would believe her or consider it an exaggeration. Ted was too good at covering up, he still maintained a perfect image in the eyes of outsiders. The community, friends, and even those close to him all saw him as a symbol of success and prestige. It was this disparity between the public image and the hidden truth that pushed Leslie into a state of confusion. She felt like a lonely person, screaming in despair. Every time she thought of denouncing or exposing him, she imagined the consequences, the destruction of both her honor and her life. That fear made her silent, but in that silence, the fear grew, the suffocation increased. Ted, meanwhile, was sinking deeper and deeper into his own darkness. He could no longer distinguish between truth and lies. To protect his image, he not only controlled Leslie but also all the relationships around her. He interfered in conversations, controlled her schedule, and even cleverly separated her from her old friends, making her increasingly lonely. He turned that loneliness into a tool to consolidate his power. The perfection that society saw was just a curtain, and behind that curtain, Ted gradually revealed his nature as a cold manipulator. What made things even more frightening was that he never completely lost control. On the contrary, every action, every gesture, every word was calculated, making it impossible for Leslie to find a loophole to resist. In moments of despair, Leslie began to remember the image of herself before coming to Ted. She used to be strong, free, passionate, and confident in her abilities. But now, standing in front of the man who once vowed to protect her, she felt like a weak person, forced into a dark corner with no way out. She was tormented by the question, did this love really exist, or was it all just an illusion created by Ted to bind her? That question haunted her constantly, making her both resentful and eager to find a way out. But every time the thought of leaving flashed, the memory of the coldness in Ted's eyes made her shiver. She understood that leaving him was not only a difficult decision, but also a life-or-death gamble. This inner turmoil gradually changed Leslie. She was no longer as naive as before, instead, vigilance and the will to survive gradually arose. Though still scared, she began to plan her own course, to observe, to find loopholes, and to prepare for the worst. In silence, she nurtured a small flame of hope, that she could escape Ted's shadow, that one day the truth would be revealed. But at the same time, she also realized that the path would be thorny, that every step could lead to destruction. That suspense made her life a tense journey, where every moment could be a fateful turning point. Ted, on the other hand, had no idea that his restraint had sown the seeds of rebellion in Leslie. He still believed in absolute control, still thought that what he did was to protect both of them, to maintain his image and position that was unshakable. But the truth is, it is that control that is eroding the remaining feelings, turning love into a deadly obsession. Leslie no longer looks at him with admiration, but with fear and vigilance. Love has turned into chains, and those chains only urge her to find a way to escape. The silent confrontation between them is no longer just a matter of emotions, but a battle of trust, freedom, and survival. Leslie understands that she must keep calm, must continue to pretend, must hide her fear so as not to be discovered by Ted. And Ted, in his blind confidence, continues to tighten the siege. With each passing day, the distance between them grows larger, but the danger also gets closer. In that picture, no one can predict what will happen. Only one thing is certain, the truth cannot be hidden forever. Once Ted's perfect shell cracks, everything will explode, and the price to pay will be terrible. Subscribe and ring the bell to follow our channel to always be updated with the shocking and dramatic developments of the ongoing movie.